There's a lot of men that I know right now who is trying this entrepreneurship thing and they're feeling the pressure, the pressure to provide.
If you want to grow in a marriage, as a man, I feel like the man can control emotions.
As an entrepreneur, if you are not able to master your emotions, you wouldn't be able to be a good leader in your company, much less your home.
It's my money, our money, her money, but my money is also her money.
Brandon, bro, welcome to the Mancave Talk, brother. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Keston. We handshake
here.
We
gonna nap it out.
Let's do it. Yeah, man, that's dope.
So, bro, you are an entrepreneur here in Atlanta. You're pretty successful at what you do. You've helped hundreds of people become successful as well. And one of the things that I admire about you and what attracted me to having you on the podcast was your wife, Michelle.
Yeah.
And I met Michelle before meeting you. And the crazy thing was y'all did or do elements of business together. Talk to me about that and kind of like where it all started for you guys. Did you start off like as entrepreneurs? Were you a 9-to-5er? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Crazy. Okay, we got to go all the way back.
All the way back. We got to know. All
right, so here it is. So Michelle's older than me. So Michelle's about 5 years older than me. When I met Michelle and we got together, I'm from a small town called Wilson, North Carolina.
Okay.
Right. So it's about 5 people in the city. Well, it's 3 now because me and Michelle moved. So essentially, we got together and we kind of shared the same values as far as stuff we wanted to do like in life. So we wanted to just be successful and be open and be free. We didn't know what they looked like, but we just knew we wanted to do something different. So when we moved out of Wilson, we said we wanted to move to Atlanta. So she sold everything out of her house. She rented her house out. She pulled everything out of her 401k. She quit her job and she just moved. I didn't have anything. All I had was gold teeth. And I had to melt the gold teeth down to go and put it in the U-Haul. So that we can get to Atlanta. Wow. So that's all I had. I also had bad credit. So here I am, 21.
How does this make you feel as a man? Because you're 21. You guys are making this move. She's pulling all of her life, everything out, and I guess committing to you. What was the vision? Like, how do you feel in this area of your life?
So I didn't feel anything at that particular moment because I knew I brought at least a certain level of man to the table.
Okay.
Right. Now that didn't start kicking in until I got to Atlanta. So not at that moment, I didn't feel anything yet. Right. Because I came in, I kind of helped her with things, whether it's cooking, going half on things like, oh, you want me to get this deep freezer for you? Let's go half on it and things along those lines. So I feel like I was providing something to the table at that particular moment.
Okay.
When we got to Atlanta and I couldn't get a job. First, I couldn't get the apartment because of my bad credit. That's when things started to kick in. That's when I was like, as a man, I can't provide and do the stuff that I'm used to doing because I'm used to paying stuff for cash and things along those lines. So now I can't get an apartment. Now I'm feeling less than a man. Now I can't get a job. Now she comes home and she's like, hey, you look for jobs yet? No. And I'm just flipping out because I'm just like, I feel like you're attacking me, but you're not. It's just me attacking like myself.
Hold on. When did you realize that?
Later on in life. So I didn't realize this till years later, 6-7 years later.
Wow.
But at that particular moment, it was frustrating that I couldn't get a job and I couldn't do things that I wanted to do. And she would just take on everything as far as paying all the bills and things along those lines.
I want you to go deeper on that because there's a lot of men that I know right now who is trying this entrepreneurship thing and they're feeling the pressure that the pressure to provide is what I like to call it, right? The pressure to provide. Their wives are looking at them and they're trying to be supportive. But every now and then that question comes as to what's going on. How do you navigate that looking back at that previous self? What would you tell a man right now?
I would say that, well, I want to speak to this and I'm going to answer that question. Around that time, I was doing something. So as I was applying for jobs, I also started video editing every day. So in between, I'm editing 12 or 16 hours a day.
Wow.
So learning, that's how I got into this whole video production thing, because I was editing every day for 3 months. No job.
Is this making you money, or?
It's not making me any money.
Oh, so it's a hobby.
At this particular time, you say it's a hobby. Yes, it's a hobby. Yeah, it is a hobby. But I want to blow up as a rapper, right? So I said, if this thing goes through, everything will be together. Everything will be safe. Everything will be good.
Are you good as a rapper?
At the time, I thought I was pretty good.
Yeah.
At the time, I thought I was pretty good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I was pretty good. I mean, I'm not, Run DMC, Jay-Z, LL Cool J. I thought I was pretty cool.
Okay.
But I would say if you are somebody who's looking to provide, I say do not let your family fail, and you want to do everything you can to actually provide. Because there's always something that you could do as a man.
Bro. So
anything.
So I want to break that down even more.
Let's
because here you are, you're editing like crazy.
Yep.
Would you call that your purpose, or like something that you're truly just so passionate about?
At that time, I was passionate about getting that done. I was extremely passionate about that.
So you got that.
Yep.
Let's say you got your passion.
Yep.
And then you got the pressure to provide at the same time. And oftentimes the woman is outside looking in, wanting to support that passion, but needing money to survive.
Yep.
So when you say to a man, you got to provide, are you saying, clarify that?
Okay, that's a good question. I would like to say you have to do them both. It's going to suck.
Yeah.
And you may have to dive back into the passion just a little bit. But for example, when I was working my job, the last job that I actually quit, when I was working my job on breaks, I wouldn't talk to people on break, and I would go and I'll read books on my phone, I'll watch videos, things like that. And when I would get home, I would do work as well. Like as soon as I get home, so there is going to be some time we have to sacrifice, whether that be family time, but you can't do everything. As a man, you're not going to be able to provide, be with your kids, be with your family, and do your passion thing. There is going to be a drop in some things. For me personally, it's going to suck.
What suffered?
The family time.
Family time suffered. So
if you're going to do them both, it will be a little bit of family time and heavy on providing, heavy on your passion. Once your passion gets together, now you have more time to be able to put back into your family.
Isn't it interesting that we try to provide for the family, but then we cut them out?
Yeah.
And it's almost this question always comes up for me because let's say did you have kids at that time?
Yeah, I did. Yep.
So let's say you got kids. How old were they?
Our daughter. So she was 10.
She was 10.
Yep.
She's 10. She wants daddy's love.
Yep.
And daddy's busy.
Yep.
Never gonna get back this time ever again.
Yep.
And she wants you.
Yep.
She comes knocking on your door. Hey, daddy, come play with me.
Yeah.
Come watch this TV show with me.
Yep.
What's your response to her?
I do it.
You do it.
I do it.
So when you say you lose the family time,
So I'm glad you asked that. So when I say lose family time, we're not missing out on games. We're not missing out on doing helping her with homework. We're not missing out on those things, right? The time. But so for example, let's say you come home and you normally would spend from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. with your family that's watching 3 movies, that's doing whatever the heck that looks like.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is they may have to cut short as far as like we need to do 2 hours with mommy date and maybe an hour with daughter doing homework and do whatever that jazz, whatever it looks like.
Yeah.
So I mean, reduce it, but we're not necessarily neglecting.
Yeah.
Because if my family, it's been time my daughter needed stuff and I cut everything off. I tell her, like she's going through something, I'll go in her room and I'll tell her, I got all night. I have nothing to do.
Bro, I think that's so beautiful and it's so important because neglecting them in that moldable time of their life to provide, then when they are looking and they grow up and they're looking for love, they have this desire that daddy didn't give me, although daddy's home, but he was hustling.
Yep.
And so there's this almost absentee father thing that happens, and you're saying that you were able to stop regardless of what and put the most important thing in front.
You should definitely stop. In my mind, it's providing. I need to provide. But if she comes in and say, hey, are we going to do so and so, I can stop everything right now.
That's amazing, man.
I'll just leave.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just get back to it. But in my mind, I also know that, okay, I got to stay up another 3 hours to get this done.
So you're strategically compensating for the things, which I don't think men do.
It will be difficult.
It's tough.
It's going to be 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning a lot of nights.
But that's what needs to be done, because if your wife and your family needs the time on the back end, you gotta get it on the front end.
Sure,
because you gotta still put in the work.
Yep. My wife, she'll tell me to because my main thing is I try to edit at night when everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
But my wife still wants me to hold her. So I go and hold her. Oof. And I'm like this. I'm holding her and I'm looking at it. And as soon as she starts snoring, I gotta get better. Start snoring. And I try to ease my arm out. And then I go downstairs and I edit for the rest of the night.
Bro,
so it's a strategy. It's a
I relate to that so much, because I'm a dude, I get up at 4. I've been getting up at 4, like when I was a corporate guy, and I still do it now because my wife, we like spending time together. So I take the time on the front end. But there are times now where she would have said, hey dude, like, waking up every day alone is like, doesn't feel good, because I'm up and I'm working till she's up, and then it's like, hey, how you doing? But she wants that pillow talk kind of thing. And so we agreed that like 2 times a week, I come back to bed just so on a Saturday, I'll get up at 4, put in some work. I know she gets up right around 6:30.
You're looking at the time. Dude, it's almost 6:30. Okay.
I go back to bed. I go lay down with her. I go hug her up, and I give her what she needs. And oftentimes guys think that they have to do it all versus understanding what they need. Because they may just need that 1 hour, that 2 hours
it's not
for
much.
the entire. They don't need much.
It's not much. It's not much. It's not that crazy. The whole thing, I thought it was a whole strategy I made up. I didn't realize everybody else was doing it. I was like, all I really have to do. That's why I think marriage is so easy. I'm like, all you have to do is just go in here. When you say I'm going to bed, I'm like, you gonna be knocked out in about 25 minutes. So I come in here, I hold you, I throw on something on TV, and I might turn the TV off just to make sure as soon as I hear something. You start doing a little mumbling when she sleep. I slide out of bed, and I'm right back downstairs. For about another 3 hours.
I love it, and I don't think that marriage is easy. I just think that you're a very smart guy.
Okay, I can say that.
And you are in a percentage of guys that understands. Hey, understanding her needs and kind of going towards that is what really matters. And so kudos to you, because I didn't know that about you before having you on the podcast, and I think that's really dope. So.
I think I have a high level of emotional intelligence. I study. Like my wife, I just study people, and I know everything about her. Everything.
Would you say you're a continuous student of your wife?
Yep. I know everything. Yeah. So I guess that's what makes it easier for me. Now, I do think it also depends on who you choose to, because if I chose someone else, no matter how much I know them, sometimes people shift. And then we might not, our energy might not align. So me knowing them still might not necessarily make a difference. But my wife in particular, since I know her, I know how to work. Those things I know how to maneuver.
Which is why I said a continuous student, right? Because as we all grow, evolve, start learning new things about ourselves, we start making new money, and so we could afford new experiences, things that we never thought we liked, now we like, and it's like, when you start doing Pilates, you know what I mean?
I found it was fun.
Exactly, right? You start to enjoy the things that most people would say was reserved for white people.
True.
Right? Because it came with money. And so I love the fact that you're a continuous student of your wife because it's necessary.
Yeah, it is.
It's like
it is. It's very important. Like if you want to grow in a marriage, I feel like as a man, I feel like the man can can control emotions inside of a room. Let me speak for me.
Yeah.
Let me speak for me. For me personally, I can control an emotion. If my wife comes home and she's sad or mad or whatever, I can dictate what that actually supposed to look like and how it's supposed to feel inside of our household.
Yeah.
I can sit her down. I can have a conversation. I can say certain things that I can change the way she feels. Right now, if she comes home, she's mad and she's mad at something, and I get mad at something. Now the whole house is mad.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like I can control those things only because, again, I just got that level of emotional intelligence when I can kind of read.
Where do you get that from?
I don't know. I promise you. I've been trying to figure it. I don't know. I know I can tell you a couple things. I can't tell you exactly where it came from, but I can tell you a couple things that actually happened in my life. I remember before I quit my job, I told a guy, he said, "What do you want out of life?" or some question or whatever it was. He was a pastor, I believe. And he worked a job and he said, "What's something you want?" or whatever the case it was. And I said, one thing I want to be able to do is control my emotions. It's out of everything else. I want to be able to do that because I didn't like the way people could be able to dictate the way I felt. So if you come in and I didn't like you and you would call me a name, whatever, it would change the way I feel. I like being happy in myself 24/7. And I didn't like the way other people could change that.
Bro, I mean, I feel like that's the key to life.
Yeah.
It's the absolute key to life. So you go to this pastor guy or somebody and you're like, "Hey, grant me this wish. Help me get this wish." What does he tell you?
He just said, only God could do that.
So how did you work on it? and the reason why this is so important to me, bro, is because as an entrepreneur, if you are not able to master your emotions, first of all, you'd go back to being an employee.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to be a good leader and in your company.
Yeah.
Much less your home.
Yeah.
So I feel like understanding what and how somebody could get this high level of emotional intelligence is really important. So that's why I'm like, I set some men free here.
Yeah. So the first thing was I acknowledged it.
Yeah.
And once you acknowledge it, you can start to like dictate whether you want to feel or something. So it's almost like you come in and you say, "Brandon, whatever, I don't like you, whatever." I'm just like, "Oh, this is a test." In my mind, I'm like, "Well, let me just see if I can just not respond or not react the way I normally react."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, it works. Let me just do it again." So at first I do it on myself, on my own, without doing any research or data or whatever. Then from there, that's when I start reading books, watching YouTube videos, and taking like different personality tests, like the DISC assessments, and studying on those people and figure out how the human behavior actually work.
That's incredible, man, and kudos to you for
I like to say I'm not a super like scientist. I don't know. I'm definitely regular. I just want to let people know like I'm not out here. I didn't go to like a lab or anything. I'm just regular dude. Just like I don't like the way this feel, and I don't want to do that. I like being happy. Being happy is fun.
I don't think most men equate being happy to controlling their emotions. I think they equate being happy to money and to getting different things in life. Now realizing that does absolutely not make you money. Like, dude, I remember this is when I realized money didn't mean crap.
Yep.
We did a deal and got $500,000 in one deal.
Wow.
And when that check hit, I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
10 minutes later, I'm back on the grind.
Yeah. Yep.
A red carpet didn't roll out. No fairy anything came and swept me off my feet.
Yep.
It was just like, this is not about money.
No.
The feeling that I thought like things was gonna change, and so that's why I push people to purpose so much because you think you want money, man, and of course somebody would be like, well, good for you, man, X, Y, and Z, but it's like,
let me okay.
Talk on that.
So let me tell you something about money. Money is a tool, and it's going to help as a man. If you're in a low place right now, especially if you're a man, definitely get some money. It'll help you and help your wife and help your family out.
Yeah,
definitely
for sure.
Get as much as possible. But here's what happened. So my mom, she's in North Carolina, so she still stays there right now. And I made enough money to where I'm going to start taking over your bills. So the first thing I did, because she's not working, she's like disability, whatever, so she don't have to work. So, but she's still struggling with money, you know, whatever. So I said, I'm going to take over your phone bill. Took her phone bill. She was like, Brandon, thank you, whatever. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to start taking over your mortgage since that's like the biggest bill. As soon as I start taking over her mortgage, she started spending more money. And they start spending more money, she got more debt, and she got a job. So had I not paid her mortgage, my mom would not be working right now.
Wow.
I want everybody to put that into perspective.
Yeah, that's big.
My mom has a poverty mindset only because she's from that place.
Yeah.
I made enough money and said, listen, I'm going to take over your mortgage. You're on disability. You don't need to work. Matter of fact, you don't have to worry about bills. She's like, I'm going to create more bills. And now I need a job. The
mindset of money is such a big game that I don't think people really understand. I'm still digging deeper into my mindset about money and my beliefs and things that's really deep within. And I think that at every level, even when you go from being a corporate employee, you're making six figures, that's awesome. It takes a different type of belief in money to start making $1 million.
Yep.
You start making $1 million, it takes a different belief to start making 10 million. Absolutely. You know, and you continue going up. And so it becomes this inner game.
Yeah.
This one of my mentors is Myron Golden, and he talks about be, do, have. First, you got to be to be able to do, to be able to have the things that you want. Right. And how does your concept about money and all of this, how do you now implement this in your home with your family?
So for my daughter, she has to figure it out on her own. So right now she's in the Navy. We actually gave her everything that we could do.
Okay.
Our money. We gave her when she graduated from high school, we gave her 6 months before she did anything. 6 months of just homeschool. So we gave her she did a book a week. She read one book a week. She had to record it on video and edit it. So she got 3 skills at one time. I'm teaching her how to edit, I'm teaching her how to shoot, and I'm showing you, credit and money, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So we did 6 months of that. Tried school, that got weird, and then she went to college right now, and she just blowing money. She just has no idea how to value money, and it just really we're doing our best as far as like paying her bills with her account, but as far as our daughter, it's not really but so much we can do with besides continue to try to educate her and doing the best we can. As far as my wife, she's already been good with money, and she's been better at money than what I have. So I just did get on board.
Yeah.
Right? We're like, when you come up with money, what do you do with it and all those other things? But we have it to where when you have money, knowing that you do have options, but just know that you can always go broke at any given time. So I always got the mindset of this can all be gone tomorrow. Not necessarily YOLO, blow it all, but just be smart and just like do the right things and try to educate, and don't everybody has to like get it. Everybody has to go through some sort of sacrifice the same way that you did. So if like family or friends ask for money or whatever, they either have to do something in exchange, or we just not give it to them, or we just buy the thing. So everybody is hardworking the same as far as to get the level of money, but we don't just like give out money or whatever. Everybody has to work. Everybody has to either get a job or something along those lines to be able to value money. Because if you give out money, nobody's going to value the same unless you work for it yourself.
Yeah. And how do you guys manage your money in the house? Is it like, your money is your money, Michelle's money is her money?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
we got all of it. So we got my money, we got Michelle's money, then we got our money.
Okay.
Yes, that's how we do it.
How does it work?
Okay, so she'll make money. I'm sorry. It's my money, our money, her money, but my money is also her money. So I forgot to add it in there. So she spends her money and my money, which is our money.
Yeah.
And then I have money that I'll make and I'll put into where it's bills. So like all the bills or anything we need to do together, we'll put it in like a joint account. Then I have my own personal account, and she's always had several accounts before I met her. Like she got money that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
Like she might be like, I got 7 accounts. It might be thousands here and there, whatever. And I'm like, I don't ask about what's in the account or anything along those lines. But if I ever go broke or ever need money or ever need any she got my back.
Okay.
If I say, Len, listen, Keston want me to come in this podcast and he want to pay me. I got to pay him for $10,000, $20,000 for mindset coaching, but I ain't got it.
Yeah.
She'll go into one of those 7 accounts.
Yeah.
She'll pull out some credit, pull out some cash, and say, boom, this is Keston's.
Bro, you're talking about something, and you're reminding me of a thought that came up that I was so grateful I didn't have anymore, but I used to suffer with in previous relationships. And that's thinking about what your wife is doing.
Okay.
Right? Because my wife, she went out, and on Saturday she goes out and she's out like the entire day. I'm happy because I get to work, right? So I'm like, go do your thing. Yep. Perfect. Yep. I'm going to do what I do, right?
Yep.
And something came up where I'm like, do you realize you never ask her where she's going, what she's doing? Like every now and then we might check in. Like she may call and be like, hey, babe, I'm about to order you some food because I'm not going to be home to cook. Okay. I don't cook.
Yep.
Right? And so I had that thought. And you're sharing this with me now as if there's absolutely no doubt, no thought in your mind that she's setting up a getaway plan or like a exit plan. Like how do you feel about like that? Like honestly,
man, if I feel like that she wanted to do that, I think she should just go ahead and do it. She should just do it, because if I'm thinking about it, that means there's something on my part. There's some insecurity on my part. I should have no doubt in my mind where she's doing anything or whatever the heck. I feel like I married you because I feel like you got my best interest and our best interest at heart. If I have any thought of you're going to do something negative against me, I should nip it in the bud right now. Not even thinking about it. It's something wrong with me. We need to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
If I'm like, I wonder if she's setting up a getaway plan. Why am I thinking that? What is it about me that I'm doing wrong that I feel like she's setting up a getaway plan?
Yeah.
And what is it about she's doing?
Yeah.
So either we need to just get a whole divorce, just get divorced today.
Yeah.
Because apparently if I'm never going to stop this mindset of thinking, I might as well just go and cut ties.
Bro, that's so good.
It's going to be tough for me to sleep.
It's so good, bro. And that's what it does. It stresses you out. You start thinking about things that takes away your productivity. Yep. It takes away so much energy. And would you say that your wife is the only person that could literally stab you in the back because she has the knife and it depends on what she does with it?
Rephrase that.
I'll rephrase it.
Yep.
I'm making it very dramatic on purpose.
Yep.
She has a knife and she could choose what she does because she has everything and knows everything. Yeah. And it's just like, because some men protect themselves.
Yeah.
And like you just shared, if you got to protect yourself, then something's wrong.
Oh yeah, no. She can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the relationship I have with my wife.
Yeah.
Like if she decided one day that, man, I'm about to make a turn.
Yeah. I'm gonna be shocked. I'm gonna come home like, oh, none of my stuff's here. Oh, wow. Goodness. Okay. Well, that happened.
Yeah.
She got everything.
Bro, that's awesome. I think some men would think we're crazy. Some men would think we're stupid.
Well, it's just, again, it's who you choose. Like, I'm pretty, been together for a while. Like, what are we doing? Taking everything now? I mean, but like this, I'm pretty confident in like myself and what I can do and what I can provide. So let's say you do have a getaway plan, whatever. Who are you going to?
Yeah.
What, somebody in Dominican Republic? Like, where are you going? You know what I mean? And who's going to be able to relate to you the same way I do? Who's going to be able to, it's not going to last long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not saying there's not people out here better than me, right? But it's going to be very difficult to find.
What do you think about prenups?
I think prenups are for whoever feel like it's important for them, right? For me, like if I was to meet somebody right now and let's say me and my wife, whatever, and I meet somebody right now, I'll probably do a prenup.
Because the trust is different. The level of trust and the entry point.
There. Yeah, I would do it for sure. And we can still, like, prenup, that doesn't mean that we don't love each other or anything along those lines. Here's the thing. I would do a prenup and I would still pay you money if we ever got a divorce. Just because if I have that type of love for you. Let's say we sign a prenup, we get together, say 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, and I just feel like it's not working out for whatever reason. But you still got a certain lifestyle. I would still voluntarily pay you every month just so you don't lose that, but just know that we don't work out. It's not like, all right, well, I'm off with the money. Bye. It's like, go figure it out with you and kids or whatever that we done. Yeah. I still feel like that I like to hold up my end of the bargain as far as I'll be obligated to do that.
Because you're a stand-up, you're a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, most men probably won't.
Yeah.
And
so I'm saying I'm not doing a prenup for that. Like, I'm just off with the money.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's just that, like, as I start making more money, I don't need you to, like, hey, I see you making money. No, I'm gonna continue thriving, but I don't want you to suffer in between the process. But continue.
No, that's dope, man. So when it comes to where you guys were, because things started out really rough. You didn't have credit, you didn't have anything, and things were bad, and you were kind of riding on her. How are things now? How have that changed in terms of your family finances and is where are you guys now?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
My wife still has to do some adjusting because this is still like new. Like when you come into new money, it's different, and you just got to figure out, like, can I do this, or can I purchase this, or can I not, or which sometimes I like, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's good because we get to save money. It's like, okay, great, go to Ross, right? Yeah. But then sometimes it's like, okay, we don't have to suffer. You can actually buy that. We'll be okay. Like for you, for us, for you know what I mean, for whatever the reason is. So, just knowing that we have options. So it's just that balance of knowing when you get into new money to be able to balance who you were on top of who you are now. I think that's the only struggle that we're having right now. I guess maybe the imposter syndrome, what you call it, or whatever it is, kind of like, let me give an example. Maybe going to a high-end restaurant as opposed to going to a regular restaurant as we would normally would. Yeah. Maybe a TGI Fridays or something like that. And it's like, wouldn't feel the same going to TGI Fridays as opposed to we go to like a Morton Steakhouse or something like that with more quality food or things along those lines. Yeah. It's like, no, we can still eat chicken tenders. It's okay. Yeah. Chicken tenders is fine. Fries are good. Right?
You know what, man? And I don't know if I think I've always been this kind of way. I feel like my taste buds have evolved, and going back to some of those things just does not taste as good.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
So at what point in time, and this is such a good conversation, at what point in time do you change your lifestyle? I got my own thoughts on it. I want to hear, like, for you.
Lifestyle, you talking about like house, car, food, everything?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I say that you have to make sure that you're going up, right? So let's say you hit, 6 figures, right? And you're constantly going up 200, 300, 400, 5,000, and you got this thing in a wrap. So now you just have to scale it. At that point, you can probably change your lifestyle. If you are like, hey, I just hit 6 figures, I'm about to go buy a Maserati. No, let's make sure you got it intact. Like let's make sure you are a good entrepreneur, and this is not luck.
Yeah.
That's when you should change it. It could change it, if you want to.
No, I think that's very fair. And maybe I still have some level of 9 to 5 mindset where there's the security of money coming in every month. And as a real estate investor, one of the things that I stick to, we've made tons of money, millions of dollars, and I still drive a Prius. The reason why is because our cash flow hasn't gotten to the point that I said, I'm not changing my lifestyle until we get this amount of cash flow. We could walk in and go buy a car right now. Yeah. Right? Cash.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there's a level of discipline, and it drives me nuts because it takes a lot of discipline, strength to watch that money in the business and all of that pull up in a Prius and not feel less than, and not feel like I got to keep up with the Joneses, you know, because there's this level of security that I believe in myself wholeheartedly. I believe in real estate a little bit more. Right? Like that cash flow gonna come in when the economy, seasons, whatever. Like I want that to come in if I feel like getting up or if I feel like I don't. And that's one of the reasons why I never upgraded, because we have not yet hit that number yet.
So I love it. But I can say that it just I think it depends on the person, depends on your goals.
For sure.
I have, nieces, nephews. I got, we're working with, for even the people that I work with as far as photographers and videographers, they're underdogs in their particular industry, right? So I want to show that little black boy that they can do it. And I can show them through money. Or I can show them through a car. I'm going to get the car.
Yeah.
I'm getting the car. I'm getting the car for them. I'm getting the car for me. If I don't do anything else, I can still be in an apartment. But I'm getting the car. If I don't do anything else, I want people in the neighborhood to say that. How do you do that? Because one thing I used to coach people a lot when I worked a job. Like people that worked with me. And I said, you should do that, you should do that, whatever. And I was like, why aren't these people listening to me? They need to see it. So I want them to see it.
Got it. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I haven't even worn this chain for maybe 3 months. But if a photographer videographer sees this and say, you know what, I can get a chain too. You don't have to be a rapper. Yeah. Right. So it's one of those things where you can come in, you can show them the 200,000, 300, 500,000 you got in the bank, and then pull up in the Prius. A black boy in Southside Atlanta, they might not believe you. Yeah. That's true. Rent a McLaren and they would do whatever. If you want them to go look at a house, you about to take them to a raggedy house. You're in the Prius and it said, we about to fix this house up. Yeah. What are you talking about? That 500,000 might not be real, but if you pull up in a McLaren, or a Corvette, or a Maserati, and say, listen, I want to show you how I did this. They're more likely to jump in the trunk with you, jump in the back, jump in the bus with you, and then they'll be able to follow every step of the lead. It's such a good thought, and you're absolutely 1,000% right. But am I doing it for them? Now it's marketing. Let's be, like upfront, like a part of it is marketing. Absolutely. Because now you could listen to me. Now you're going to listen to the message that I have to share. That's actually going to help you. Right. So it does have that part of it. And I've definitely thought about it. But then there are these personal goals that I feel, for me, that level of discipline that achieve this. Prove that you deserve it. And my number is ridiculous. Nobody really needs that amount of money. That's just my number that I've set. And that probably came from Grant Cardone, who's one of my mentors too, right? And so it's just like, get to that place. When you get to that place, then you change your lifestyle or you start increasing. But when it comes to traveling and like the things that we actually enjoy, we do it. We do it. I think that they both work. I don't think there's a like a right or I think it's preference. Sure. Because there's a lot of people who, of course, that you heard about things, Bill Gates got Timex watch, all this type of stuff, right? I think they all work. People are like, hey, the billionaires don't even have a Rolex or what have you. And it's like, okay, $1 billion, you can still buy a Rolex. You're not going to, what are we proving? If Steve Jobs wanted to buy my parents right now, he can go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Like, so I think it's a personal preference. I think it's your own personal belief system. I think, that's basically what it boils down to. So I don't think anybody should say, well, this is the way that I'm going to do it. I think it's based on if you feel like you have enough discipline to be able to say, you know what, I'm not going to do this, and it helps motivate you to get your goals, then do it.
Yeah.
If you feel like you want to use it for / marketing / helping the black boys in the neighborhood, then you do that too.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on you.
No, it's 100%.
But I also feel like that you don't get the car and you also don't have any money. Like, okay, let's make it make sense.
Yeah.
Like, let's not when you get your first check, go buy a car. Let's make sure entrepreneurs, if you're doing well in entrepreneurship and you want to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And also show other people that you've been able to do it. I don't see nothing wrong with it.
It's so funny because last year I was going to buy a Lambo just to put it out on the road, like just to rent it out because it's a great asset. It could be a good asset too, right? Yeah. And so started the whole process and everything and didn't find a good operator for it. So I was just like, well, I can buy the car. They can see the car. I can have it on the road, and because I really don't care.
You should.
I really don't
care.
care.
You should. If it's not your thing,
I do love cars.
Right.
My first car was a BMW 535, and I mean I fixed it up to look like an M5. So like I absolutely love cars. Yep. But then I realized that I was living hood rich, and it wasn't until I stopped and I slowed down on that fixation with cars that I started doing business. I'm like, oh shoot, now I'm making money. Now I could take the money, go buy the car for real, right? Yep. So slight thought process. Back to you and family, right? Finances is a funny thing when it comes to family and changing things. How does entrepreneurship and where you guys are, how does it affect your intimacy?
It does. It does because of so much stuff on your mind in business. At this level in our life, like I have so much stuff on my mind all the time, and it affects it a lot because it's tough for me to go back into. Let me just take a thing. The only time I can actually get intimate is at night. Like at night, maybe after 10 o'clock. Anytime in between that, I can't just stop right now and say, all right, let's just let everything go. Let's just be between me and you. Let's just kind of do it. It's very difficult. So it's only at night. I can turn my brain off at night, but throughout the day, it's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of stuff in my mind, and it's very difficult throughout the day as an entrepreneur to be intimate.
How does Michelle feel about that? Have you guys ever had a conversation about it?
We did. Michelle's she's good now, but there was one point in time because I had to snap out of it. After we had to talk. I said, you're right.
What talk?
It was like, well, Brandon, everybody, we're on trips, and everybody's like, hey, everybody's talking about their love life, how they're having sex all the time, and how they're, dating a lot and things along those lines. And he was like, hey, we need to get back to doing that. And I was like, wait, we've done it. We've done it here and there. And it's like, you're right. We haven't really. So when we got back from a trip, we took a trip to Cancun. And this one it was like a couples trip, and that's when everybody started talking about their lives, their relationships, and all those things. And I was like, well, we're not really doing it at that level like they're doing it. So when I got back, after we had that talk on the trip, as far as like we need to go back doing things that we used to do, business that got overwhelming. When I got back, it just changed it. We put it on we don't put on a schedule to kind of like date every week. But I ask her like every time I say, hey, this weekend I'm kind of free. You want to go do something? And we just do stuff. And it just works out once you just have the conversation. And she didn't say it at first. She felt it. And I was like, why are you looking weird like that? Why are you looking like what's that face for? And we had to get back to the room.
Yeah.
And said, well, I just feel like, this. I'm like, that's what you was feeling? And I'm up here happy, high-fiving. Boom, what's up, y'all? We having a good time. And I look back, hey, Michelle. And she's just like, I'm like, hey, we having a good time. You want a drink? You need a drink. You need a drink. What's wrong with you? And I just didn't know that she was feeling the way to everybody. Was like, yeah, man, we dating every week. And yeah, man, we having sex all the time. And it's like,
are they entrepreneurs?
They're entrepreneurs.
Okay, so there's no excuse.
There's no excuse.
Yes, there's no excuse. Okay.
No, she's just looking. I'm like, why is she looking like that? It's crazy. Until we went back to the room, and she's like, yo, I just feel like that, they're doing all these things and we're not. Like, we used to do this and we used to date a lot and all those other things. you got busy in business, it's just a lot of work.
So do you guys? How often do you guys date now?
At least once a week.
At least once a week. That's awesome. My wife and I, that's the standard. Like even when we were 9-to-5ers, at least once a week. And now we actually schedule intimacy time, like sex. We schedule sex because we got so busy at times that you miss it.
Yeah. And
then there are the times when when somebody might text randomly during the day, hey, wanna come upstairs and give me like have a little quickie or whatever. And before I used to be so like, man, I'm locked in, not right now. But now, bro, I'm like, we have the freedom to do whatever. And the reason why she's texting is clearly because there's a desire there. Yeah. And I don't want to get shut down. So I'm like, I'm going to take it while I can. So I'm going to be like, I'll call you right back. Yep. Like if I'm talking to a seller or whatever. And man, I'm upstairs and it's on, you know? So I definitely, we try to make sure it happens because she understands that it's a need. And what happens to us as men when we become businessmen that makes that desire just go down?
I know for me, it was a mix between like the love of like money, business, and not wanting to go back to that place of being broke again. And I want to be so great that we never have to go back to that.
Yeah.
And it kind of overrides the importance of why I'm even doing it in the first place.
How do you balance that?
It's, again, when you, with the scheduling, like time blocking and things along those lines, you just got to put time into it. You can't wing it. I haven't got to the point of scheduling sex, but as far as scheduling, like,
it's not bad.
Yeah, as far as scheduling like date times and things like that, you have to just put in the schedule.
Yeah,
and put on a calendar. Like I sometimes tell Michelle, like, yo, okay, great, let's do it. Just hit Vanessa, she'll put it on my calendar. And let's do it.
Man,
it's rough though.
It is rough, and it takes a level of intentionality to be able to have those desires fulfilled. So get it on the schedule, man. It helps. It really does. Final thoughts and questions. The divorce rate is going down. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. That's a really great question. I know that people out here suck. I could tell you. Yeah. I'm looking now online, and I think people. This is me assuming. This is just me. Just right when you ask the question, this is what I think of.
Yeah.
I think of that. People, it's better to stay with who you have right now, because the people that are like outside of your spouse, or it's a new mindset and it's like a whole new turbo. If you think that you're dealing with these, one or two things, maybe your wife may be nagging or whatever, it's a whole different ball game out here in these streets when women are wanting BBLs and all these other things, right? It's just a different level of women that you may deal with if you come out here and go in these streets right now. That's my assumption. Otherwise, I don't really know.
Awesome, man. Well, bro, I appreciate you being on, man. I enjoyed this talk, my man. Thank you so much, man.
This is fun.
Guys, another episode of the TMCT podcast. If you're looking for a community of men that's open to really just having amazing conversations, make sure you click the link below. I'm going to start doing monthly calls on Zoom with men, just so that we can have live conversations. So you want to be able to tap in with that. That's where things are going to happen. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.